Welcome. I have decided to do some tutorials. I had a couple of people ask for some stuff, so I thought I might as well go through the process of creating some of this artwork, as well as some of the tools, and that's what we're going to start with today. So today I'm going to show you what I use. It's not to say that that's the only thing that you can use, but it's what I use, and I found it works good for me. So I'm gonna grab a piece of scrap paper here, move that off to the side, and I'll tape this guy up. So here's a good one. This is artist tape. It's not as sticky as other tape, and it's acid free, so it won't yellow anything over time, which is nice. So you don't have to worry about longevity of your pieces staying fresh and clean. So what I use, as far as, it's pretty far away, what I use, hello Amaru, you're gonna hear cats. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There will be a cat at some point, and there's one right there. See back there. Hello Amaru. So hopefully she won't make too much noise. So what I use for these drawings is, this is Copic Multiliner SP, hello. And I found that these are really, really nice, high quality pens. They're expensive, but they last a really long time. With these, you can change out the tips. So these are reusable pens. So if this pen tip goes bad, if I use it too much and it gets all scraggly and scruffy, then I can take it off and put a fresh new one on. Same thing with the ink cartridge. So on the back here, the ink cartridge is here and it snaps out, and you can just pop a new one of those guys in there as well. So that's as easy as that. Again, that's Copic, however you want to say it. It's a Japanese brand. Waterproof pigment ink. They're fantastic. I've been using them for years, probably a decade now, I think. Yeah, I'd say a decade. I've had these pens, these shells, I should say. I've had these for probably close to 10 years as well. And they look fresh and new. It's because I take care of my stuff, but also just because nothing really sticks to this aluminum outside. They do have, Copic has a wide variety of materials and stuff, going from papers all the way to, they have a little airbrush system, battery powered airbrush system. That's really cool. I don't have that. I don't need it, but it's pretty sweet. They have these non-reusable pens that you can just get a set for, I think, like $15 to $30, somewhere in there, depending on the size of pens that you get, different packs that they have. They also offer a bunch of different pen tips. So these are in millimeters. This is 0.3 millimeter. This is 0.8 millimeter. I'll show you the ones that I just had out. Again, here's the 0.3. It's a nice fine tip, and it goes down to, where's what it is? Goes down to 0.3, or sorry, 0.03. So 0.03 of a millimeter. Tiny. We'll see. Maybe this will show. Focus. A little bit. Not really. This is small. This is like a hair. Kind of see in comparison. That one to that one. So they're really small. I don't want to mix up the tops. There. I have bunches of them. So my good set, these are kind of my crappy ones. These are all the same with black, which I found out after I bought a few that these are also refillable, and you can switch out the pen tips. So I bought a bunch of these, 4 of them, and then I realized that, and I could have been reusing them the whole time. Going on to that, so these are, I'll use one that's a little bit fresher and better. Nope, not that one. This one. So Copic again, they make brush tip wide pens, markers. These are markers, not pens. And they make chisel tip. These are their sketch markers. There's a few other varieties that they have that are named different things that do different applications. How's that for a terrible description? These have a brush and they have a chisel tip. There's one where it has a finer point brush and then a brush, and they have the wides. I don't know, I heard a rumor that they were phasing out the wide markers, these big guys. These are fantastic. I really like this. If you want to lay down a lot of ink very quickly, this is the way to go. I haven't found much better than this, unless you're just using paint and a brush. Or I guess you could put ink on a brush and do the same thing. But I really like the chisel tip. It gives a nice straight line as well as laying down a consistent level of ink. You can play around with different things as far as that goes as well. So if you do want to have kind of a stroke that kind of disappears and gets feathery, then it would be a good thing to use ink and paintbrush. That you could achieve the same thing. But we're not talking about method, we're talking about tools. This is another one that I have. These are, back up. So these are interesting. I haven't used them too much. I've used them enough to get used to them. These are Chameleon changing color Fineliners. So Fineliner is the technical name, I guess, for this stuff. So these are interesting. They pen top, let's zoom back in. So the pen top, the cap, has a charge of ink on the inside of it. These are water-based as well, so if you get these wet, they will smear, they will wash out. So you could use that to your advantage or disadvantage. They are a 0.3, I believe. Yes, 0.3 millimeter tip. So that's one that I use a lot. And these, they have a charge in the top of the cap as well as being filled with ink. So the idea with this is you take one of one color and put it into the other color, and focus please. Focus on my face. There, okay, it focused. So the thought here is that you take one color and put it onto the other color and it charges it. And then as you draw with it, it'll fade to the original color. You can do some really interesting stuff with these. I haven't found a lot of applications yet. I've been mostly into the black and white stuff recently, but I'm sure at some point I will go back to this. I've used them many times in the past and I will continue to use them in the future, but this is a large set. I believe it's, what is it? 48, yeah, 48 different colors. And you can make all sorts of different combinations. It even gives you the total of combinations. 1128 color combos, which is interesting. Another brand that I have found that I like, not to say that this is the only one. I know there's like Faber-Castell and I'm forgetting one. Yeah, that's okay. These are Pigma Micron. These are all 0.5 millimeter pens. So their tips are just a little bit bigger than what I like, but you can get smaller from these guys as well. These are colored. They lay down nice color quickly. I've found a lot of applications for these, and they're well made. I've had these for I think 2 or 3 years and they haven't run out yet, so that's a pretty good run for a pen in my opinion. I don't use them every day, but they're nice. They work well. I've taken them. I used to take them on bike rides and then do some little sketches once I got to a nice sitting spot. So that was a nice time. Micron, they make a bunch of products. Micron, that's the brand. They make a bunch of products, and all of them are really well made. They have some gel pens and some other stuff. This is just their 8 color set, but you can get all black, you can get brush tips. There's all sorts of fun stuff, and it's another Japanese made company. I found that Japanese pens are like the cream of the crop. I haven't found much better. Stadler, German company, they are really, really good technical pens for like technical drawings, which would be building illustrations or things like that. They also make a very high quality pen, but I found that I really like, this is my brand, Copic. I've picked as kind of my brand. You can pick whatever you want in the end, but that's mostly what I use. I do have a couple of Sharpies and other things that I use from time to time, but most of the time it's going to be Copic. They have done me well for many, many years, probably a good decade. I'm pretty sure I've had these for a decade. This whole set I've had for a decade, which is surprising to me. I don't know why it's surprising, but it's surprising. Maybe I'll show the different tips of these pens. You can kind of see, and I'll show a quick demo of a couple of them as well. So I'll pause and we'll go from there. Okay, I've grabbed a couple more things. So the refills for those Copic pens are these. They come in packs of 1, but I've doubled up. I always have at least 3 on hand, because it seems like once one goes, then a whole bunch of them run out of ink. So I always have a couple on hand. You can refill the markers with this, and it tells you how full it is. It's a 12 milliliter little thing, and I want to be careful with this tip because it dumps ink out. And you just pop that into the pen, or the marker I should say, and fill it back up. The old ones look like this. I've had this for a couple of years. This lasts forever. I've had this for I think 4 years now, and I think I've maybe used a couple of charges on it. And then this is just a quick sample of the replaceable nibs for the pens for these. So the tips come in this. They have this reservoir that goes down into the ink cartridge, and then it fills it up from there. That's basically it. They're not inexpensive, but they're not super expensive. I think for depending on which size you get, like these are I think $4 for 2. I think there's the bigger pen tips are less expensive, but it's 1, so you don't get as much out of them. But still, they're not super expensive, and you can just keep reusing, which is nice. Next, let's look at some different sizes, just so that you can get an idea. So this is their, well, let's start with the biggest. So this is the BS brush tip. That's what it is. Brush small, to be exact, because they make a larger brush, but I think it's only available in the non-reusable tips. And I think I even have one. Brush medium. So BM. Brush medium. BM. So you can see quite a bit of difference between the two of them. I've found very few times that I need this anymore, so I don't use it that often. And this one, the tape means that it's really running out, so this one is going to go bye-bye soon. I haven't used it in a long time. It might just go bye-bye sooner rather than later. So this is the, I'll just put BS. This is the brush tip, the small tip. You can get some pretty good size stroke out of this. So you can just place it on its side and go. This extra line was the side of that. There, that's better. And you can get some very, very small ones. And the more pressure you get, the bigger the line goes. So this is kind of a fun tool. I usually use them for filling in shapes. I have done a little bit of other things with it, but not a ton. It's not quite the application for the line work that I do. This is the second biggest tip, at least that they offer in the refillable version. This is the 0.7 millimeter. And this one is a pretty fat tip. This one I don't use super often. I don't find that I need to use it. That's basically it. I like the finer tip stuff. It works better for what I'm doing. But this is good for big shapes as well. The 0.5 millimeter. 0.5. I use this one pretty often. That tip is probably a little worn out. They look almost the same, and that's because I've used this one a bit, so this might need to go. This might need to be replaced. I'm going to show the ones that I use the most often. Am I holding it? No. There it is. And then I'll show the smallest. So these are the three that I use the most often. We've got the 0.3 millimeter, we've got the 0.2 millimeter, and then the 0.1 millimeter. So the 0.3 is what the next size down. No, it's not, because there's a 0.35. But I'm going to show this one, 0.3 mm. This one, there is a noticeable difference, and as you're drawing, you can see it. You can feel it. Beyond that, I don't know exactly how to explain. 0.3, 0.2 millimeter, 0.2, and now you can really start to tell the difference between them. That's getting nice and fine. It's the way I like them. And then here's the 0.1, 0.1 mm. This one I use constantly, and you have to feather tip push this one. If you press real hard, you just ruin your tip, and you have to get a new one. Here's the smallest. This is the 0.3, itty bitty 0.03. I always forget the O. 0.303 mm. This one, I don't use this one often either, so this one will probably not work so well. Yeah, but it is itty bitty. Good for fine details, but for lots of different applications, maybe not the best. I'm going to show you the Pigma Micron. Let's go for a couple of the colors that I really like. So I like the blue, and I like the green, and I like the red. So they have darker versions of these three colors, but these are, I like that they show the color on the bottom as well. It helps so that when you pull one out, you know what you're getting. We're going to start with the blue. This is 0.5 millimeter. No, it is point. Yes, 0.5 millimeter. 0.5 mm. These, as you can tell, are just nice, rich, good color. Here's the green, same thing, 0.5 mm. Nice and thick. Cats are playing. Those guys. As you can see, quality is nice. There's not a huge difference between them, but I do like the refillability of the Copic stuff. And like I said, I'm just kind of a Copic guy. So those are mostly what I use for different applications, different things. Maybe I'll zoom in just a skosh so you can see differences there. There we go. Yeah. So nice, good lines, nice strong inks. I'll show you the brush tip, or the wide, the big marker, and then I will also show one of these guys, the sketch markers, and then I think that'll do it for showing off the different applications. So this is the chisel tip. Fuzzy on there. So this is the chisel tip. lays down good, thick ink quickly, which I like. And you can get, with the point, you can get into tight spots. So if you need to fill something in, you can get into narrow areas pretty easily. I don't know why, but, and you might be able to see this here too, this is a different black than this. This has, to my eye, this one has a little bit more blue to it. This one is hard to describe. It's a little bit warmer in color, but it's definitely, it's a different shade of black. That's it. Here's the other side, the brush. Hi, Amaro. The brush tip is also nice. You can get into tight spots, as well as the harder you push, the bigger it gets. So, fine tip. It's nice. Hi. If I don't respond to her, she just keeps meowing and meowing. Okay, here's the wide. This big chunky guy. I really like these, and this is why. Place it down, and just a wide swath of ink. It's great. It's great. Color in spots very quickly. I found that if you go over, I have two different shades of ink in my two wide markers. I've got, this one is the Special Black, 110 Special Black. Hi, Amaro. 110 Special Black. I know. And this one is the 100 Black. So the Special Black I find to be a little bit closer to this bluish dark color, or bluish black, and this is more of like, it's not a warmer color, it's just a little bit different. Again, hard to describe, but you can just see this one feels just a little bit blue, and this one it's different. That's it. So when you put these two over one another, they make a really nice, consistent black all the way through. Yes, I know. Yes. So those are the tools that I use to create this sort of thing. And within this composition, I use mostly 0.5 millimeter going down to the 0.1 millimeter. So it just varies on how I want to do that, which in further tutorials, I will show how to do that. Yeah. In the beginning, I didn't think there was much to this kind of artwork, but as it turns out, there is a lot of different things that you have to keep in mind. So it's about keeping, she's peeking up over here. It's about keeping pen stroke nice and even. It's about finding the nice lights and darks and the spots that you want to fill in, and so on and so forth. So in future tutorials, I will go over that stuff. So thanks for watching. I did forget two things. So this is after I was done recording. I'll just splice it in wherever I feel like. So two things that I forgot to go over were Prismacolor. I use a bunch of Prismacolor products as well. This is their markers. They have a fine point. Okay, Prismacolor, they make a bunch of high quality markers, as well as they do make some Fineliner pens. They make colored pencils. They make colored pencil, watercolor pencils. They make, everything. They make all sorts of really good products. Again, I have chosen more or less that Copic is my favorite, but they're expensive. So I haven't gotten a bunch of these Copic markers yet. I'm still using my Prismacolors, which is, there's nothing wrong with them. These are fantastic products and I love them very much, and I've had them for years. So this is their marker. They have a chisel point and they have a fine point, as you can kind of see here. I use them, I've been using them for, again, over a decade. I think a couple of these I've had for that long. They have a nice point and they have a nice chisel, nice broad stroke, nice fine point. Fantastic products. This is one that I've had for a long time. This one I think is about 12, 14 years old, something like that. I got this, I think I remember when I got this, but I've had this forever. They last a very long time. Some of them that I've had for a long time like this are running out, but you can still use them to like be rough with. Just be mean too. Those are their markers. I have a bunch of their colored pencils. This is their 150 colored marker or colored pencil sets. I got this on sale a while ago. So they go on sale every once in a while on like Amazon and stuff like that. There's a few different websites that I like to peruse, just check out art supplies. But so this is their 150 pencil set. And underneath each one of these trays, there's more. And there's 3 on each side, so it makes up a lot. These are also fantastic colored pencils. I've used these for a long time as well. And I have a drawer full of them over there that some of them are close to 20 years old, I think. So you don't have to press very hard to get a nice layer of color in there, which is great. And they are fantastic at blending. So we're gonna focus on there. So you go one way, you go the other way, you kind of mix them together and make nice, yeah. Use same idea as any pencil goes. You use the same principles. Never press too hard. What I was doing right there is wrong. You don't go up and down. You always use one direction. That way you can get a nice even tone, and then you do the same thing over on the other side so you can get continuous layers of tone. Everything about them is great. You can also, like over here in this blue, I'll shift you over this a little bit. You can soften the harshness of the marker with the pencil, and you just cover a little bit of the space, and it'll give you a new layer. It'll turn it kind of purple. They blend together so wonderfully. So in conjunction with the markers, the pencils are fantastic. I would highly recommend pretty much anything Prismacolor. They do an awesome job. Like I said, I've been using them for a decade or so. Well, more than that. And yeah. So probably 20 years at this point, which is nuts to say, but yes, it's been about 20 years since I started using them. They were the ones that the company that really got me into higher quality tools, higher quality pencils, markers, that sort of thing. Something that will last me a long time, and obviously they last forever. But I wanted to go over those because I should not leave these out. They have been a cornerstone in my progression as an artist for a very, very long time. Fantastic markers, really good pens, pencils, all of it. They do a great job. Now that's good.